I've been a fan of Call of Duty for years, and over the course of my playtime with the series, I've played a lot of great maps. I've also played a lot of bad maps. I've seen some videos on TikTok about people discussing their least favorite maps in the series, and after seeing some absolutely crazy takes, I figured I'd throw my hat into the ring. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the worst map from every Call of Duty game that I've played. Yeah, I know, these videos always say the worst map from every COD, and then they skip over like half the series, but like, I'm not gonna go buy Vanguard, I'm sorry, I wouldn't do it to save my life. Before we start, remember to subscribe. I talk about video games on this channel in an analytical style, so if you like those kind of videos, feel free to join our community. I also live stream from time to time right here on this YouTube channel, so if you want to come hang out, crack some jokes, or discuss stuff, come join us sometime. And if you can't make it to those streams live, feel free to subscribe to my second channel, RatedEm Live. I upload all the best moments from my live streams onto there. But with all of that out of the way, let's jump into the video. I want to preface that we're only looking at the base game maps, so no DLCs, and we won't even be looking at maps that dropped later in the game's lifespan for free, like Atlas Gorge or in the post-Modern Warfare 2019 games. So let's first start with COD 4. I played this game via the remaster, but the maps are the same and they play very similarly to the original game in the remaster, so I'm going to go off of that. In my opinion, I'd say that the worst map from COD 4 is Crossfire. I know a lot of people are quick to say Block, and don't get me wrong, Block isn't great, but I never liked Crossfire. Crossfire just feels like one big street with a bunch of little windows to camp out of. I never enjoyed this one. I'm gonna skip over World at War because I never really got to play the multiplayer for it due to old COD on PC being a literal risk to your computer, so we're jumping right to MW2. Modern Warfare 2 is one of my favorites in the series, but it definitely had some maps that just did not play well in my opinion. For me, Estate has gotta be the worst map in this game. Estate feels huge in this game, and that's saying a lot considering that Wasteland exists, and that map is just a really big field. Estate feels massive, and it feels like a hike getting from one side of the map to the other. It did not play well in the old engine, in my opinion. Black Ops 1 is home to my favorite campaign in the series, but I didn't play a good amount of the multiplayer. My memory is a little hazy on this one, and I apologize. The worst one I remember playing was Jungle. It just wasn't that fun compared to Havana, Firing Range, or Array in my opinion. Take that one with a grain of salt. Again, my memory of BO1 isn't the greatest. Thinking about Modern Warfare 3, I was scared that I'd feel the same way I felt with BO1 where I couldn't remember shit, but looking at the maps on the wiki, it all came flooding back to me. Modern Warfare 3 is home to some of my favorites in the series, from Hard Hat to Arkaden to Mission, Village. Modern Warfare 3's maps are glorious. I'd have to say that Fallen is my least favorite in this section, simply for the fact that I had to look up gameplay of what it looked like to remind myself. It's very forgettable in the cast of some of the most classic Call of Duty maps of all time. Now to Black Ops 2, I remember it like the back of my hand, and easily I can say that Aftermath is one of the worst maps ever created. I can understand the desire for more casual maps in this series, and if anything, I support it. I don't mind maps that focus more on the visuals than the gameplay, because matches on those maps can sometimes be pretty chill. However, Aftermath just feels disorienting. I never know where I am in this map, there's very few landmarks for me to kinda know where I was located, and I never played the map enough to really learn it because everyone was always voting it out, and I don't blame them. Overflow is also a contender, but I'm gonna say Aftermath because I do have somewhat of a blurry vision in my head of the layout of Overflow. Aftermath, not a clue. Ghosts was arguably the hardest for me to pick a map I hated because honestly, it'd be easier for me to pick a map I did like. I'll say Flooded, again, way too big with very few landmarks. I know a lot of people point at Stonehaven, and I never really got the hate. I think Stonehaven's a really cool map. Oh, now here we go, Advanced Warfare. This game has got to be a top 5 COD for me. This was my introduction to the series, and I played the hell out of all of these maps. Easily the worst map for me from Advanced Warfare is Instinct. This map doesn't take good advantage of the more advanced movement in my opinion, and could fit right into a game like MW3 or even Ghosts. Other maps in this game definitely feel like they're designed with the new gameplay in mind, like Terrace, but Instinct doesn't feel like it was made for this game. Black Ops 3, previously my favorite video game of all time, is another game in the franchise with very few bad maps. If anything, the bad maps are more found in the DLCs, but all the ones at launch are centered around the new movement options and feel very intuitive to run around in. I feel like with Black Ops 3's maps, if I were to completely remove my memory of the maps and play the game over for the first time again, I'd still be able to do a loop around the map and have an idea of what movement options I can make within certain areas. However, while pretty much all the maps fit this design element, I feel like Exodus does it the worst. I always mix this one up with Evac, which is a great map, but Exodus falls into the category of big map with few landmarks. It feels like every area within this map is ripped from a different one, and I always feel like I'm missing the action in this one. Infinite Warfare was a little tricky for me as I spent a lot of time playing Modern Warfare Remastered instead, but this game does have some pretty good maps. I'm gonna pick Scorch as it feels way too close to both Skydock and Mayday for me, and the bright red and orange hue that the map has is an assault on the eyes in my opinion. Moving on to World War II, which I think is the most underrated COD, I'm gonna say Aachen, or Aachen, or Aachen. I know the community opinion is Gustav Cannon, but I'll be honest, I don't think Gustav is that bad. If anything, I feel like the area surrounding the tank is too big and should be brought in towards the tank a little more. Aachen or whatever, in my opinion, feels a lot like Aftermath from BO2. It's big, and it doesn't really offer any uniqueness to itself. And I know I keep bringing up big maps as a point of negativity, but I don't hate big maps. I love Wasteland from MW2, Yemen from Black Ops 2 is pretty large, and I don't mind that one. It's just when that big space is poorly utilized is when it becomes a problem. Black Ops 4 is another game where I didn't put a lot of time into the multiplayer, which is funny considering that game is mostly multiplayer content. I spent a lot of time in the zombies mode with this game, but I did play enough multiplayer to recognize the maps. Icebreaker is not a good time. It doesn't have a set flow to the map and doesn't really have any fun areas where lots of action can occur. Payload and Gridlock are both runners-up, however. Now we're at Modern Warfare 2019. This is the game I've spent the most time in. If I wasn't 16 at the time of this game's life cycle, I honestly think I could have gone pro. This was like the last time I was good at a video game. It's been downhill ever since. I know there's a lot of hated maps in this game, like Euphrates Bridge I remember not being very good, but that was specifically intended for 10v10. Same with the ground war maps, like those are designed entirely for a different style of gameplay. For the main quick play maps, Piccadilly is one of the worst maps ever. While I do think it has those landmarks I keep bringing up that help the player orient themselves around the map, each one of these landmarks is an area for action. Think of Raid from Black Ops 2. You think of the big area in the middle where most of the gunfights occur. Now imagine that area 6 different times on the map, and they all take like 16 seconds to go in between. That's what Piccadilly feels like. The fact that this map was in rotation for the competitive scene was crazy to me. I can't name one person who looks at this map and says that it's fun. Cold War was definitely a difficult choice because I initially didn't really like Cold War, so I didn't sink a terrible amount of time into it. I definitely remember Cartel though, and I feel like different areas on the map are just too stretched out from one another, and that big open field with the plants just sucks. If you go there, you're asking to be shot. We're skipping over Vanguard because I didn't play it, and I probably won't play it until it becomes free or government mandated. Jumping into MW2 from 2022, this game was real easy to pick a map from. If you're a longtime viewer, you'll know that I hate this game, and one point I always bring up is border crossing. 400 cars, all destructible by the way, lined up bumper to bumper. Good luck trying to see anyone. I know what they were going for with that kind of Sicario, more police-based feel, but this map just fucking sucks. The real map is the outside edge that everyone keeps looping around like an Olympic relay race. The cars in the middle, that's hell on earth. And finally, we've arrived at Modern Warfare 3 2023. Now you're probably thinking that I'm going to say Estate because those maps are all from the original MW2. Why would my opinion change? Well, while the layout of the maps is the same, the maps don't play the same on the new engine. And in the new game, I actually don't mind Estate. I think with the faster movement, it feels a lot better to play. However, I think Subbase is my least favorite map in this game. It doesn't feel fun to play at all, and playing this map on a mode like Hardpoint or Domination or even Search and Destroy is abysmal, considering an objective will be placed in this big open area that's easy to get killed in. And there we have it, one map from every COD that I've played that I hate. If you think my opinions are shit and want to see what maps I think are good, I've got great news for you as that video is currently being worked on. And hey, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also feel free to leave a comment as I try to reply to as many as I can. If you want to check out more videos, you can do so here, as well as check out RatedEm Live, which is where I upload the best moments from all of my live streams. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.